So I've spent my entire life, especially since age 19, when I had my near death experience, trying to understand who or what God is, what is life, what is love, what are relationships, what is the meaning of existence, as many other people ask this same question. You may think, who am I as a little soul trying to understand the Alpha and the Omega, the eternity of eternity? It seems ludicrous to try to understand something that has always been and will always be. Is there even a point? But I believe in some ways that there is, that each perspective is valued and cherished. Each unique individual view is valuable, and each person is valuable in their own unique subjective experience of life and inner world, which is an entirely different life than we just simply see outside of them. So, having said that, I think it is fully justified and even necessary for us to try to at least understand what is our what is our part in this eternal light, what is our mission in this eternal light that can never, a flame that can never cease, that will always burn for eternity. Having said that, my perspective of love, there are a million different things that you could call love. You can call love kindness, you can call love compassion, you can call love selflessness, doing good things for the benefit of others rather than yourself. You could do things for yourself, and that's called self love. There's a million different variations. There are those who say that it is simply nothing more than synapses in the brain firing off and feelings of butterflies in the stomach. That is also a unique perspective that has truth in it, but by no means is it the entirety, not even close. For me, love, when I was 19, I was broken. I was incomplete. I was shattered. It was a terrible year. I had an awful time. In the years prior to that, a lot of really awful things had occurred. And I was right out of high school and in a state of being completely lost, going down a downward spiral. And I felt very incomplete. And even today, I often do feel incomplete, oftentimes as well. I have to maintain that relationship with my Creator every day in order to feel some sort of fulfillment. I can't be cut off from the source. I need that. I need that nourishment, that spiritual nourishment, as all people should have. And I encourage everyone, as I've always done many times, to develop a relationship with your inner world and with your Creator. But that, I think I could summarize love as being that which has been broken into pieces and put back together into wholeness. When you fall apart and you feel incomplete and you're restored to wholeness, that restoration, that redemption, that cleansing is love. That is the ultimate meaning of love, is to restore all that is broken, all the fractals in creation, and the energy that is put out in the omniverse and the violence that creates these fractals and breaks apart worlds and has these elements of randomness coalescing into intricate patterns and developing into different life forms and developing into chaos and uncertainty and randomness. There is randomness in everything because it was designed that way, but there isn't in the wholeness because the wholeness is always complete. It cannot be broken apart. And this is we as individuated units of the whole, of the source, are broken apart and fractalized. And we are in the process of working our way back up into the wholeness. And that is the true and most pure and profound nature and description, in my personal opinion, of what love is. Love is the road to redemption, the road to completeness. I felt that when I had my NDE at 19, I felt that wholeness, the feeling, the intense sensation of never being broken apart, that being broken apart was simply an illusion, and that sensation of unconditional love is something that's an element that cannot be broken. It cannot be divided because that wholeness and that completeness of that light will emit that light for eternity, and it cannot divide you forever. You have to eventually, through your trials and tribulations, through even being in hell, which I've been through also, in absolute pure darkness, for those of you who know about that experience, even in the deepest depth of darkness, you can be redeemed and brought back to the light, and you will, because it is part of God's it is part of God's plan. That is the whole purpose of existence, for God to try to understand what itself is, what the I am is. He is breaking himself up constantly to restore himself back together into wholeness in order to try to understand and obtain uh, who or what he is through these individuated units. And even in the Bible, as I've mentioned before, the word eternity and forever is a mistranslation of eons. And eons is correct because when I was in that deep hellish state with those people that were eating my flesh, I absolutely felt no sense of time. It was complete timelessness, and it absolutely may as well have been an eternity. But even in that total and pure timelessness, there is a still that redemption will come through and you will be put back together because God never fails anyone and he never will fail anyone. As for us as people, this is the most difficult for us to truly love. Are we going to be able to truly love, or have we been able to truly love in the most difficult of circumstances, which seems to be the time that we're entering now? The time of nothing ever happens is over. The time of the pacification is over. And we're entering extreme uncertainty. And we may be put through absolute brokenness. And we may be tested. And we may be in absolute despair and having extreme difficulty in loving our family, loving our fellow man, because we may be very limited in resources, or we may be in mental anguish because of the things that we're seeing and the things that are happening. But if we could have that light inside of us reminding us of the wholeness, I think that will make our journey a little bit easier. I hope that gives you courage. I hope that will give me courage because we are in need, we are broken, and we have an abandonment sensation inside of us by being where we are in this dark plane, feeling very far from God. And we yearn for that wholeness. But always remember, we will be whole again. All right.